Video number 7, Contemporary Linguistics, An Introduction, written by William O'Grady, Michael Dobrovolsky, and Francis Katamba, published by Longman, Pearson Education, 3rd edition, printed in 1996. Chapter 7, Semantics, The Analysis of Meaning, Part 2, The Conceptual System, 2.3, Lexicalization of Concepts, pages 279 up until 282, narrated by Evi Sayono. What will be discussed in Video 7? We're still continuing Part 2, the conceptual system. The conceptual system has 4 subdivisions. 2.1, the fuzzy concepts. 2.2, metaphor. 2.3, the lexicalization of concepts. 2.4, grammaticization of concepts. In Video 7, we will be discussing 2.3, the lexicalization of concepts. There will be information whether all languages express certain concepts the same way or not, as there is no evidence whatsoever to believe that human beings in different linguistic communities have different conceptual systems. However, there is ample evidence that languages can differ from each other in terms of how concepts are expressed. 2.3, the lexicalization of concepts. Do all human beings share the same conceptual system? Do all languages express concepts in the same way? These are questions that have fascinated and puzzled researchers for many decades. At the present time, there is no reason to believe that human beings in different linguistic communities have different conceptual systems. But there is ample evidence that languages can differ from each other in terms of how they express concepts. Lexicalization, the classic and frequently distorted example of how languages can differ from each other in the expression of concepts, involves the words for snow in Eskimo, Inuktitut, sometimes estimated in the hundreds by unknowledgeable commentators. The set of simple words for snow in Eskimo is in fact much smaller. For example, one well-known dictionary gives only 4 items shown in Table 7.7, although other dictionaries give several more for at least some varieties of Eskimo. Table 7.7, Words for Snow in Eskimo. Number 1. Aput. Aput means snow on the ground. Number 2. Kana. Kana means falling snow. Number 3. Piksirpok. Piksirpok means drifting snow. Number 4. Kimuksak. Kimuksak means snowdrift. As you can see, there is nothing particularly startling about this list of words. In fact, even in English, there is more than just one word to describe snow in its various forms. Snow, slush, blizzard, and sleet come to mind, for example. The types of differences we are considering involve lexicalization, the process whereby concepts are encoded in the words of a language. Thus, Eskimo lexicalizes the concepts falling and snow in a single word, kana, while English uses 2 separate words. While some lexicalization differences may correlate with cultural factors, the relative importance of types of snow in traditional Eskimo culture, this is not always so. For example, Table 7.8 shows that English has an unusually rich set of vocabulary items pertaining to the perception of light. Table 7.8. Some verbs pertaining to light in English. Glimmer, glisten, gleam, glow, glitter, flicker, shimmer, shine, flare, glare, flash, sparkle. Although most English speakers know and use the words in this list, It is hard to see how the variety found in this particular area of vocabulary can be correlated with any identifiable feature of English speaking culture or society. Contrary to popular belief, the lexicalization differences just illustrated are generally not considered by linguists to have any special importance. As we have tried to emphasize throughout this book, the focus of linguistic analysis is on the system of knowledge that makes it possible to speak and understand a language. The fact that a particular language has more words pertaining to snow or light does not in and of itself provide any insight into the nature of the human linguistic system, and therefore does not merit special attention. However, as we will see in the next subsection, there are lexicalization differences whose properties can shed light on how linguistic systems express meaning. Motion verbs. All languages have words that can describe motion through space. In brackets, in English, come, go, and move, among many others. However, recent work suggests that there may be systematic differences in terms of how languages express motion and the concepts related to it. In English, for example, Table 7.9, there are many verbs that simultaneously express both the concept of motion and the manner in which the motion occurs. Table 7.9. Some verbs expressing motion and manner in English. Number 1. The rock rolled down the hill. Rolled down. Number 2. The skate slid across the ice. Slid. Number 3. She limped through the house. Limped. Number 4. The smoke swirled through the opening. Swirled. Notice how each of these verbs expresses both the fact that something moved and the manner in which it moved. In brackets, by rolling, sliding, limping, and so on. Interestingly, Romance languages, in brackets, descendant of Latin, cannot express motion events in this way. Thus, while Spanish has a verb rodar with the meaning to roll, it does not use this verb to express both manner and motion as English does. Sentence 14. La botella rodó en la cueva, meaning the bottle rolled into the cave. Instead, the motion and its manner have to be expressed separately. Sentence number 15. La botella entró en la cueva, rodando. La botella entró en la cueva, rodando. Meaning, the bottle entered the cave, rolling. La botella, the bottle. Entró, entered. En la cueva, the cave, rodando, rolling. However, Spanish does have a series of verbs, in brackets, table 7.10, that jointly express the concept of motion and the path along which it occurs. Table 7.10. Some verbs expressing motion and path in Spanish. El globo bajó por la chimenea. El globo bajó por la chimenea, meaning the balloon moved down through the chimney. El globo subió por la chimenea. El globo subió por la chimenea. The balloon moved up through the chimney. La botella volvió a la orilla, meaning the bottle moved back to the bank. La botella cruzó el canal. La botella cruzó el canal. The bottle moved across the canal. La botella salió de la cueva. La botella salió de la cueva, meaning the bottle moved out from the cave. As the English translations show, Spanish verbs of motion express both the concept of movement and the direction of its path, down, up, back, across, out, and so forth. In brackets, English, too, has verbs that can express both motion and path, descend, ascend, return, and so on. But these words are not part of its native vocabulary. Rather, they were borrowed into English from Latinate sources, usually through French. Another lexicalization option is found in the Amerindian language, Atsugewi, Table 7.11, in which verbs can express both motion and the type of thing that moves. Sidebar: according to Google, Atsugewi is Native American tribe that live in California. Table 7.11. Some verb roots expressing motion and the thing moving in Atsugewi. Lup, for movement of a small, shiny spherical object, in bracket, a hailstone. I don't know exactly how to read this, but it has only one letter small t or lowercase t. I don't know whether to read it as t or t. However, the meaning is for movement of a smallish, flat object that can be attached to another. In brackets, a stamp, a clothing patch, a shingle. Cack, C-A-Q, cack, for movement of a slimy, lumpish object. In brackets, a toad, a cow dropping. Swell, for movement of a limp, linear object suspended by one end. In brackets, a shirt on a clothesline, a hanging dead rabbit. Kiput, the spelling is Q-P-U-T, kiput, for movement of loose, dry dirt. Stack, S-T-A-Q, stack, for movement of runny, unpleasant material. In brackets, manure, guts, chewed gum, rotten tomatoes. We learn two things from these facts. First, the concept of motion is associated with a number of other concepts, including path, manner of movement, and moving thing. Second, the way in which these concepts are grouped together for purposes of lexicalization can differ systematically from language to language. Languages such as English have verbs that simultaneously lexicalize motion and manner, while other languages have verbs that simultaneously lexicalize motion and path. Spanish, or motion and the type of thing that moves, Atsugewi. The general picture that is emerging from this type of work is that within particular semantic domains, there may be a small universal set of concepts, in brackets, motion, manner, path, thing that moves, and so on, and a small set of options for how these concepts can be combined for purposes of lexicalization. Unlike the lexicalization differences involving snow and light discussed earlier, these differences appear to be highly systematic and to reveal some general tendencies about the way in which meaning can be expressed in human language. Further work of this type should provide additional insights into the organization of the human conceptual system, as well as the ways in which its component notions can be lexicalized in human language. This is the end of video 7. This is Evi Sayono. See you next time. Bye.